they're ready for this. You know what time it is? It's about that time of the week to showcase what you got, the talent that we have. It's a whole lot. You can sing, you can dance, you can rap, you can write. It doesn't matter. You know what time it is? Put your hands in the sky and wave them side to side. Every foot alive. It's Talented Thursday with Kimberly, Eichelle. Let's go. I don't think they're ready for this. You know what time it is? It's about that time of the week to showcase what you got, the talent that we have. It's a whole lot. You can sing, you can dance, you can rap, you can write. It doesn't matter. You know what time it is? Put your hands in the sky and wave them side to side. Every foot alive. It's Talented Thursday with Kimberly, Eichelle. Let's go.
Okay, there we go. Are you all able to hear me now? I'm getting some feedback. I don't know what's going on tonight. Can you all hear me? Can you all hear me? Hello, hello, and welcome to Talented Thursdays. Again, it's your girl, Kimberly Eichelle. I got Damon Williams here. I wanted to give him a full introduction, but let me tell y'all, this man is booked and busy. Damon, thank you for being here tonight. Let me give you a proper introduction because this ain't how I roll. I got to roll right, okay? So I'm going to bring you back down, let you do what you're doing, and then I'm going to bring you back in. How about that?
I think we're good now. I wouldn't touch it.
You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I couldn't hear you at first, so I even came further away from the band so I could hear you even better.
All right. Well, perfect. Thank you for being here tonight. I definitely appreciate it. You are a busy man. I know you're in the middle of a show, so thank you for taking time to come here tonight. I had the pleasure of meeting tonight's guest. Let me go through this intro for you at Jimmy Kimmel's Comedy Club here in Las Vegas, where he closed the night out in a hilarious set for none other than Miss Kim Whitley. Damon Williams is a Chicago native who's been in the entertainment industry for over 30 years. He's worked with some of the most iconic names in show business. And again, he stays booked and busy, y'all. He wears many hats as a comedian, writer, actor, and producer, where you can find his work on Tubi, Urban Flix TV, and on Netflix, where you can see his hit special, All the Queen's Men, hosted by Samore. It's an honor to have you here tonight, Damon. So welcome to Talented Thursdays. Let's get started. You ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go. Let's go. So coming in hot, the first thing that I like to do on Talented Thursdays is rep your city. So you from the Chi, you from Chicago. Tell me about Chicago. If someone has never been there, what do they need to do, see, experience when they come to the city?
Well, first of all, Chicago's a world-class city. It's actually been voted that 8 years in a row, one of the best cities to visit, especially summertime shot. There's nothing like Chicago in the summer. Our lakefront, our restaurants, our culture, our museums, our music scene, our comedy scene is unheralded. It's the greatest comedy scene. It's the mecca of Black comedy when you think about the comedians that have come out of Chicago and continue to come from here. So I'm very proud. I'm always representing Team Chi-Town. Right now, I'm hosting a show for a band that I met at America's Got Talent. They're a family of siblings. The oldest one is only 25. And they were teens when I met them. And they tried out for the show and they made it to the show. They're called None Above, N-U-N-N. That's their last name. And so I'm super excited about that right now, but I'm also happy to invite them to Chicago. This is my second time showcasing them here. I did another thing at City Winery. So that's what it's all about as far as we go here. We have love. Chicago's a melting pot of migrants from the South. So we got that Southern down home flavor, but it's also a metropolitan city where you can do anything. If you can't do it in Chicago, you can't do it nowhere. So that's what's up.
I know that's right. You better rep your city well, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, indeed. So I like to go all the way back to the beginning because there are people who may not know about Little Damon, okay? So being from Chicago, as a kid, I went to church in Chicago. I'm from down the street. I'm from Gary originally, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So I know about, the candy stores and all those things. Tell me, what did you like to do as a child? And, what were some of your favorite things that you like to see in your neighborhood?
Well, what we used to do a lot is it was two eras. One, we used to ride our bikes and do wheelies to the point where some people were so good they would take their front wheel off, and they had paved this major street, Loomis Avenue, and it was a 4 or maybe even a 6 blocks blacktop fresh pavement. So between that and then we transitioned from the wheelies to skateboarding. We'd be up and down Loomis skateboarding. Then as we got older, we got mini bikes. And then after the mini bikes, we got cars. And see, back then you had to build your stuff. My son was in awe when I told him my mini bike, my mother couldn't afford to get me a new one, but I found a frame. And then I went out and found the motor. And then I had to order the clutch from a comic book or whatever magazine to make it work. And he was like, you telling me you built your own mini bike at 10 years old? I was like, when you think about it, I might have been 5th, 6th grade. Yes, we were handy back then. Then my first car, my brother gave to me, but the whole front end was in disarray. So me and one of my partners from 8th grade, Marcus Thomas, may he rest in peace, he went directly into mechanics. He was a mechanic straight out of elementary school. He never even really went to high school. He would drop out and go to the shop, and he became a full-fledged mechanic. So he would work the shop during his regular hours, and in his off hours, a part of the time, we put my car together. So once we finally got it together, none of it was correct. The front end was all over the place. So I had no wheel alignment. So I ended up getting my first job. I'm 17, 18, and I'm doing a courier service. And I had to pick up samples from these clinics across the city and then drop the main packet off at O'Hare Airport so they could ship it to LA to get their results. But my front end all over the place, and I'm in these express lanes, and my car was doing this when I was holding it straight. So it's zigzagging and going straight. And I had a girl with me, I'm showing off, right? She got out that car weak. She said, I'll never get in that car, never again in my life, because people were blowing at us. I was running people off the road. It was hazardous, but that's how we came up.
Goodness. So you were the first one to ghost ride the whip, basically. That's what you're telling me.
Yes. Look, no hands.
Exactly. I love that. So again, just growing up and things like that, were you quiet in the beginning, or were you that one that always had to entertain? Were they calling you in like to crack jokes, or you were just kind of quiet in the beginning?
No, I was a middle child. I was very quiet, somewhat introverted. And not tell my mama's business, but both my siblings were light skinned, and in the 70s, light skin was the thing, and I was the brown kid. So I already had a lower self-worth, not to a point where it was low self-esteem, but we would go places, right? So my youngest sister is mixed and my brother is light-skinned. So people would see the three of us and they'd be like, so what happened to you? I mean, what the hell you mean what happened to me? But then Black Power came in. Jesse Jackson said, I am somebody. Say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. And it was on and popping from there. But never was I the class clown or the person center of attention in that way. I didn't really develop my sense of humor until, maybe right after my adolescence, maybe in my early 20s, So I didn't start stand-up till I was 27. But around 19, 20, I started to come to my humor. Right around the time when Eddie Murphy was booming, like the 48 Hours movies and stuff like that. People they compared me to him. They used to call me Eddie. And I wasn't trying to be funny. I was just giving my observations, but people always thought my thoughts were funny. So it was cool.
You were hilarious. So I read that you were the owner of a Subway before you got into comedy. So you already had that entrepreneurial mindset. You already wanted to go somewhere. So after owning or maybe during owning that sub shop, when did you know I need to break off from here and go into comedy?
Well, owning the Subway at age 25, downtown Chicago, that was the anticipated epitome of my development. I felt like I had arrived and I made it. And my goal was, because I used to do some hustling and stuff like that, was to be a legitimate business owner, never have a boss, own my own business, and do it in a magnificent way because it was downtown Chicago. So when I got it, I'm like, this is it. But I was always good at implementation. Like if I decided to do something, I say, okay, I want to do this. And the steps from A to B to C to get it up and running is cool. But once it's running and it becomes mundane and it's a job, now I was like, oh shit, I ain't never worked fast food. Now I'm working fast food because I thought I was just going to open my franchise, come in at lunch, do the lunch rush, collect my money and be out on my boat. But you cannot have people working where they're collecting cash. Wasn't no cars like that in 92. So I had to be in there. Otherwise, they'd rob me blind. And these are relatives. And they wasn't stealing money. They was just giving away sandwiches and flirting with girls. So they felt like we had a Subway. No, we ain't got no damn Subway. I got a Subway, which I have a payroll to pay. You all pay. So it was an awesome experience. But having that Subway led me to the opportunity to do stand-up because I heard about, all jokes aside, the comedy club based on me being on a break from my Subway down the street at a health club, and some guys were yapping about Adele Gibbons hosting open mic. And that's where I found my way, because I always wanted to try it at that point, but I used to rap before that. But people don't know, I had a whole EP with 5 songs, and I went by the name of Gucci D. So,
come on.
Yeah, because I used to rock all Gucci stuff, real Gucci from Michigan Avenue. And that was my moniker. It was on my plates and everything. So I was Gucci D back then. Fast forward, the rap game don't take off quick. So I found comedy when Def Jam hit. That made it feasible because all these opportunities for Black people to do comedy were showing up around the city and around the country. Then Comic View came to town and they snatched me up. But before Comic View, Comedy Central, Sinbad's brother had a show called Comic Justice. And it was the opposite of Def Jam. It was comedy with a social commentary, right? Social consciously comedy. Hosted by AJ Jamal, who's a good friend of mine to this day. So that was my first TV opportunity, but I only been doing comedy about 5 or 6 months. So I actually froze in the middle of my set at my 7 minutes because I couldn't remember my jokes. So the audience was like, you got this, come on. And they brought it, but I restored my memory and did my thing. And they edited out that part, of course. And the rest from that was history. So I've been doing stand-up since November of 92, which makes it 33 years right now.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I love that you had the support behind you, to push you and say go, because we needed you in comedy. You are hilarious, just the way that you shut things down. I was just going through some of your things, and just listening to some of your comedy. And of course, seeing you, when I saw you, I'm like, this man is hilarious. And I remember seeing you on Comic View and all of those things, of course. So to meet you in person has definitely been an honor. But I love that you have been able to pivot and shift. Like you said, I was an owner of a Subway. I was a rapper, Gucci'd out, and then to become a comedian and do all of these things, which seems to have been done well. There are so many, let's say, rappers who never released anything. Okay. So it seems like what you put your mind to do, that you push all the way through.
Indeed. And in those days, believe it or not, you hear about this a lot nowadays, but I financed my own recording studio sessions. I created my own label at the time, but the guy whose studio we were using had a way of really manipulating the artists to keep their masters. And I, at that time, said, listen, man, I'm paying all the costs. I'm not on your label. I need my tracks. When I finish, I want my own master. So I owned my own masters in 1989, which became a thing much later. I owned my own masters before Prince did. How about that?
Okay.
He was a slave for a little while. I came in the game independent. But that's always been my mindset. I always wanted to work for myself. I always wanted to be once I got into comedy, I went into promoting comedy like this event tonight. I'm actually the promoter as well, because I always saw there's a business side to any business. So when it came to entertainment, I tell young comics it's business show, not show business, because my first opportunity to actually work at a comedy club, the same place I started, came as a substitute for a guy. And I never asked what I was getting paid. And I was so excited to be doing it. And, it's the preeminent Black comedy club in the country, all jokes aside, in Chicago. And so the man gave me an opportunity. He said, if you do the night well, because somebody had a car accident or whatever, Then I'll let you finish out the week. And I was so excited, and I had a little bread, so I went out buying tickets for everybody so they could see me at this big comedy club on a weekend, right?
Right.
End of the weekend, I did 5 shows. That man had me an envelope. It was $125. 5 shows, $25 per show.
No way.
Huh? So I said, okay, now I know I need to be him and not them. And then he had the nerve to say, which was rightfully so, he said, I did you a favor. The exposure you got this weekend, is invaluable. But an older cat told me, he said, exposure is only something you get when you stay out in the cold too long. You get paid to do this. And that always stuck with me. A brother who passed away, his name is Reverend Barr. Because here's a funny story. My first ever chance receiving an actual check for doing stand-up, I snuck on the show. Now, here's how it happened. George Wilborn is my first cousin. George Wilborn was the house MC of All Jokes Aside. By him being a house MC, he had to do his shows at All Jokes, but he was also opening for the Eichelle brothers at a place nearby at the Erie Crown Theater, which is 10 minutes away. So he was supposed to go back and forth, which he could have done, but there was a blizzard. So everything was backed up. The show started late. The traffic was bad. So after his first chance, I went with him to the Erie Crown Theater, went backstage, saw all the moves, met all the people. He did his first show. Then I drove him back to All Jokes Aside. Now, mind you, I had bought tickets for the late show of the Eichelle brothers. So I come back, but George can't leave because the owner, the same owner who gave me the 125, said he need to be there because that's his main job. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm already going to the concert and I know they have an opening act schedule, but they don't know he ain't coming. So I went right back there backstage and said, he sent me to fill in.
Yes, Damon.
Mind you, I've been doing comedy 3 months, maybe. The man came out the back. He gave me an all access pass. He gave me 2 front row tickets and said, you go on right now, then you bring up after 7. It was after 7 and the Eichelle brothers. I went out, did my thing, and that's when I went and sat in the front row tickets, and that's why I met Reverend Barr, who told me exposure, because I was so excited. I ain't even asked for no money, right? He said no. So he walked back there, backstage, pretended to be my manager, told them to write me a check. Now, here's the thing. I took a picture with this check. This is my first check for comedy. It was about $250, $300, and that was, and we talking about 1992. Amazing, right? For 10 minutes of comedy. Plus, I'm on a show with the Eichelle brothers, so now that's my new credit. Man, how about that check bounced? But here's the thing, and I tell young comics this as well, everybody. I was so excited to be backstage that I got everybody's business card because I didn't know who was what. So everybody from the limo driver to the caterer to the other, promotional people. Turns out the limo driver gave me the number to the promoter so I could follow up and get my real check. That's because I got everybody's info back there because you never know who is who when you're in a backstage situation, and treat everybody like they VIP wherever you go, always.
Absolutely. You are dropping some nuggets here tonight. I hope y'all are paying attention. You have so much wisdom. You're funny. But don't slip on me. You know what I'm saying? Don't get it twisted. I'm a businessman too. And so I love that. You mentioned that you've been in the comedy industry over 33 years now. Tell me how you've seen comedy change over the years.
Well, when we got in, I consider our era, the Def Jam Comic View era, as the Black Renaissance of comedy. Because prior to that, the only way you would see a comedian is if they were on a Tonight Show or, late night show. I can go all the way back in my age itself and say Midnight Special, which was a late night concert. Richard Pryor would be on there sometimes. And, people like Franklin Ajay, who I hold in high esteem because he's one of the early socially conscious comics. And then for the late night talk show series, if you're talking The Tonight Show, you have to be a certain type of comedian, You have to be, clean, you have to be articulate, blah, blah, blah. So we didn't see him, but we heard all the comedians by albums and cassettes and, tapes and stuff back in the day. So once the VCRs came around, that's when you had a chance to see us. So that's when Eddie Murphy's Delirious, that was the first tape I've ever seen on VHS. We watched it over and over. After him, Def Jam came. We got cable. So now we get to express our voices, uncensored, unfiltered, raw and ready. And it changed the game because it was the hip hop era. Fast forward to that. This the last song? Okay. Now he said they're doing a ballad. Who told you it was the last song? Sorry, people, I'm working. Okay, bet. So I don't want to interrupt the interview, but if it makes sense, when they end, I'll close out the show and then come back and continue.
I
or we'll
definitely
start
want
over.
you to come back. I want you to come back. I'm gonna wait for you. How about that?
Okay. Or I mean,
Okay.
what you want to do?
However you want to do it, Damon. It's your night.
Okay.
We'll
Well,
have the people come back if you want to do it that way. We can close out this segment, have you come back, and we'll finish up a little later if you want to
yeah,
do it
close
that way.
out. And we'll be back in 15 minutes. Y'all go pee.
take, take an intermission, okay?
Yes. I'm gonna
All
leave it
right.
up so nothing happens to this link.
Okay,
I'll be back.
perfect. All right. I'll see you in a minute. All righty, all righty. Again, you all are watching Talented Thursdays with Kimberly Eichelle. I am so excited tonight. Thank y'all for being here. Let me just tell you, we had to get in hot. Usually I do my, welcome and all of those things, but Damon is really working. As you heard, he is doing the show. And we were trying to get things together, and sometimes it takes a little time to make things work right in technology. So thank you all for watching tonight. Let me just give a couple of shout outs. First of all, I want to shout out my friend Renita. Renita, thank you so much. Y'all couldn't hear me at the beginning. I see that. But you hear me loud and clear now, I'm sure. But thank you, Renita. Renita invited me out. Let me just give her a proper shout out. She invited me out to see Miss Kim Whitley. Okay. And we had a good time at that show. I was cracking up. And Damon came in and did the show, and I got to meet him afterwards. And such a kind, down to earth spirit. And so I am grateful. Thank you, Renita, because if I wouldn't have went to the show that night, I may not have met Damon, and it wouldn't have been tonight. And tonight is the night. Okay. I want to give a shout out to Trina Latrice, my sister from another mister in California. Thank you so much for always tapping in, tuning in, and watching. Estella Johns from Tacoma. She is an artist in Tacoma, Washington. Thank you. This is a part of my community. People that I know that are always here tuning in week after week after week. I do not take it for granted. So thank you all so much. I told you I had some surprises coming up for you this year, and I know that there are more to come. Also, Carlos Winburn out of Las Vegas, Nevada. He's doing his thing out here too. One of the limo drivers and also promoters here in Las Vegas. Thank you for watching tonight, Carlos. And of course, all the rest of you who are watching. I am so glad to be here tonight. Let's see what y'all doing out there. Renita says she is multitasking, listening, and doing homework. I know that's right. Thank you for tapping in, girl. Thank you so much. Carlos is laughing at Damon. Yes, indeed. We had to take a break, take a pause for the calls. Again, he is hosting a show tonight. So what type of heart is that, to be in the middle of a show that he is promoting, a comedy show. And again, he has musicians. The band None is there tonight, which he is promoting as well. And to take time out for Talented Thursdays. I mean, y'all know my heart is just delighted. My mama is in the building. She said his first car cracked me up. Yes, indeed. He said that car was pulling to the left and pulling to the right, needed a wheel alignment. Okay. That's why I said he was ghost riding that whip out there. And my BFFF is on here, Jamita Brimmer. Hey, girl. Thank y'all for watching tonight. Hello to, okay. Thank y'all for watching tonight. How about that? So again, I thank you all for being here. Again, we have comedian Damon Williams. He has been in comedy over 30 plus years, and it is a blessing. Man, I never know how things are going to go sometimes, but I do know that God is in control. He's in control of my life. And I have had the honor and the pleasure of meeting so many people and talking to them week after week. So if this is your first time here at Talented Thursdays, pull on up every Thursday at 7 p.m. I got somebody new for y'all, new and true for y'all. And sometimes it's a repeat, okay? Because it's just that good. They come back, okay? Jamita Brimmer said, your boy Shantastic said, what's the word? What's the word, Shantastic? How you doing out there? Thank you. Thank you so much for watching tonight. Estella said that she's just chilling in the bed, been doing long hours at work, so she's beat. I hear you, sis. But you know, Thursdays is the night that I come to just energize y'all before Friday. You know what I'm saying? Come and give you some love, give you some inspiration, give you some entertainment. This is the place where we are going to have a good time, just a good time. So, again, Damon is between sets and we're waiting for him to come back. Let's see. If you haven't already, let me just say this, make sure you're subscribed on YouTube to Talented Television with Kimberly Eichelle. Also, make sure that you're sharing and liking and hearting. Let's get this algorithm going so I can keep bringing you great entertainers week after week. What are y'all working on out there? What you looking forward to for the weekend? Let's talk about that. Now, I have been wanting to go and catch me a movie for about, I ain't gonna lie, y'all, it's been about 3 weeks now, okay? But your girl be busy sometimes, but you gotta make time for yourself, right? So this weekend, I'm planning on going to see my movie, okay? I have to go see it before it leaves the theaters because it's been there for a long time at this point, you know. And so I definitely want to get that in. So what are you all going to do? Now, I also want to ask you this. For some of you who are watching, who are new, how are you today? Have you checked in on yourself? Have you checked in and done some self care to see how you really feel? The first thing that we typically say when someone asks, how are you? We say, I'm good. I'm blessed and highly favored. You know, I'm walking in prosperity, all of these things. But are you really? I hope you are. And if you aren't, let's get to the root cause so you can be good this year. I've met some people this year, and it's been a blessing from massage therapists to stylists and all of these things. Y'all go get your hair done. Go get your nails did. Go watch a movie. Come with, I don't know. I was going to say, come with me to the movie. Somebody could come with me to the movie. I don't know who yet, but you know what I'm saying. Do something for you. Evangelist Hardy Randolph says she's been writing songs. I know that's right. I know that's right. I love talent. So make sure that you're using all of that talent here, okay? As Stella said, I'm taking myself out on a date, taking time out for me. I love that, sis. I just started doing that a couple of years ago, taking myself out, okay? I used to wait for everybody to get together and say, hey, you going, you get your ticket, you got your ticket, da da da, you know, and sometimes we would go and sometimes we wouldn't go. And I said, hey, I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna take myself. And I have a ball. Y'all know I'm a talker. Y'all know I don't meet a stranger typically. If you feel weird, you know, in my spirit, then it got to be something there because I really don't meet a stranger like that. So I have gone to some of everything by myself. I went to see John Legend. I went to see Babyface. I've gone to other concerts and other things, movies, everything, dinner, whatever it is, because I'm gonna date me too, honey. I'm gonna be ready. Anyway, y'all, let me jump back to these comments. Renita said, I've been writing TV shows and coming up with a movie. I love that, Renita. I actually been thinking about a movie recently as well. I was actually sharing my idea with someone. So I love that you're working on that. That's actually very interesting. And it's so much easier to get things out now than they were in the past, right? We can shop our movies a little easier than we could back in the day because it took this big studio and that big studio and all of that to get your message out or your movie out. Today you could get music out overnight if you want to, okay? Just about. and movies. We got Tubi, we have Netflix, we have all these different areas where you can stream. So do your thing, Renita. I cannot wait to hear what you've got. Cannot wait to hear what you've got. So, again, you all stay tuned. If you have any questions, make sure that you are dropping them in the comments. If you have any questions for Damon, make sure that you are dropping them in the comments as well. Okay, drop them in the comments as well. Coming in hot, y'all. Coming in hot. So tell me, what's been on your playlist lately? I've been going back a little bit. I am, let's see. I like old school music, right? But I just found a new group. Let me talk about them first. This group, now y'all pray that I could get them on Talented Thursdays because I need to hear them live. But their name is King's Return. Have you all heard them? King's Return. If you haven't, make sure you look them up. They are an a cappella group. It's about 4 or 5 of them, and their sound is amazing. Amazing. They sing Luther Vandross. I've heard them sing. I've heard them sing Christmas medleys. I've heard them sing Anita Baker, and just all types of songs. Beautiful, beautiful music. So if you have not heard them, check out King's Return. And again, I am hoping that I can get them on the show. I'm hoping, y'all. Keep your fingers crossed with me, okay? Renita wants to ask a question of Damon. She said, ask Damon how I can get these show ideas into the right hands. Yes, indeed. That's a great question. A great question. All right. He may be able to answer again. If you are just pulling in, I am here with comedian Damon Williams. He has had us cracking up, telling us stories from the past, how he was an entrepreneur with a Subway shop, all the way to who he is today. That's what I love. He was not afraid to dive into anything that he wanted to do. Sometimes, y'all, I get a little nervous. I'll be like, can I? But I do it. We got to do it afraid, right? So Damon is like the picture, the face of doing things. Once they come to you, once God drops something in your spirit, you can't be afraid. He went from being first of all, he went from building his own bike around age 10 or 11 to to building his own car next, to owning the Subway shop, to doing comedy, to stepping on stage and filling in for somebody he wasn't even supposed to fill in for. Y'all tell me that ain't taking a leap. Tell me that's not taking a leap. So you all, let's pause for the calls. Again, you are watching Talented Thursdays with Kimberly Eichelle. Stay right here. We waiting for Damon Williams to come on back.
I don't think they're ready for this. You know what time it is? It's about that time of the week to showcase what you got, the talent that we have. It's a whole lot. You can sing, you can dance, you can rap, you can write. It doesn't matter. You know what time it is? Put your hands in the sky and wave them side to side. If you feel alive. Talented Thursday with Kimberly Eichelle. Let's go.
Let's go, let's go, let's go. I am having a good time tonight. How about you? I'm having a good time, y'all. This is really a blessing. I often say that God makes my dreams come true, and he does just that. There's no way. I remember being a teenager and back in the 90s and watching Damon, on Comic View, doing his thing on BET, cracking us up. Who would have ever thought that I would have the opportunity to interview him tonight? But that's it. The Bible tells us that our gifts will make room for us. So I didn't know that tonight was going to happen, but it happened. I didn't know a lot of things that God was going to do that he would do. And if he did it for me, He can do it for you. I want you all to be inspired, to be encouraged, to know that you can do anything that you put your mind to. That's why I developed this show, because I love to perform. I love to write, to act, to sing. I even love to dance, y'all, now. I do. I told my mom, well, I should have went into dancing. Well, I should have, but I think I found my niche. This is what I really, really enjoy. So open doors for sure. I see Trina Latrice over here. She says, say that, sis. Open doors. That's right. We watched a video, both Trina and I, where the gentleman was talking about open doors. And he said, God will open doors that your friends don't even have keys to. And he does. He does just that. So I'm excited. Now I don't see no plans dropping into this chat. So again, tell me what you all are doing. And in the meantime and in between time, let me tell you a little bit about Talented Thursdays. I have been blessed to do this show since I've been doing Talented Thursdays for about 2 years, but I started Talented Television in 2018, which was the live version of this show. I spent a lot of time going into the field and recording, going in with my camera and with my microphone and my lighting. And I would have, someone come and record for me sometimes. And sometimes I was doing it by myself, but I would go out and meet with the artist face to face, which I really enjoyed. And then let's see, during doing those shows, I grew, I was afraid in the beginning to really step out. I won't say afraid. That wasn't it. I just wanted things to be perfect. And you have to know that nothing is going to be perfect. You just have to step out and do it. And so I did. I remember doing my first show, and the ball just began to roll. And I have been able to do everything from the Stellar Gospel Music Awards to working closely with Danny Boy, who allowed me to come into his restaurant when he was in Las Vegas month after month after month to record my show. So shout out to Danny Boy as well. So just being able to talk with all types of artists, but I never would have been able to do what I do had I wanted to stay in that place of wanting things perfect. It don't work like that. You got to step out on faith. So, like I said, I did Talented Television for a number of years, and that's the channel that you can follow on YouTube. I'm still trying to grow that channel, but did Talented Television for many years, and then we did Talented Thursdays. And the reason I pivoted to Talented Thursdays is because the pandemic hit. And so when the pandemic hit, of course, we couldn't go in person anymore, and we were having all these challenges. And I began to watch television, right? And as I was watching, I saw that all these people were recording from home. They were doing their thing from home. We had to pivot. And so that's what God called me to do, to pivot. And it has been one of the best things for me at this time until this channel grows and I'm able to travel more, because I have been able to meet with people all around the country. All around the country. Damon is not in Las Vegas right now. I met him in Las Vegas, but he's not here right now. He's doing a show, but we're able to bring him to you tonight because of Talented Thursdays. And so again, I am always looking for new talent. I'm always looking for artists. I have dropped my information year after year after year, and I will still bring in new talent. So if you are interested, make sure that you reach out, and we will see if you are a great fit for the show and get your interview in. Let's jump back into these comments here. Evangelist Hurdy Randolph said, the little train that could. I think I can, and he did. Just do it. Find someone to believe with you. Absolutely. Find someone to believe with you. And that is important. It is. You have to have, well, if you don't have anybody, you got God. But it's good to have one somebody to be with you, to talk with you, to sometimes share things with. Because this is the entertainment industry is ups and downs. It's hills and valleys for sure. It's heart palpitations sometimes. And I say that because you never know how things are going to go. But typically, all things work out all right. Renita said, I work this weekend, but I feel there's more than this job just for me. Yes, Renita, I feel you on that. And I think it's a lot of people that feel you on that, you know. It's just like Damon mentioned, you know, when he owned the Subway shop, he basically said, you know, I thought I was just going to own this shop, get my money. And he ended up having to work in a job that God had a bigger plan. God had a bigger plan for him. And so, you know, I would admonish you to keep writing, keep doing what you're doing out there. You know, I think that it is a blessing when we're able to find what we love. And that's what I'm doing now. You know, I'm growing, I'm learning in the midst of all of this. I'm still learning and becoming, you know. And so, you know, that's how I feel as well, Renita, that things will not always be as though they are today. We getting bigger and we getting better. Again, y'all, I'm Kimberly Eichelle. We are waiting for our artist, Mr. Damon Williams, to come back. And I will see you all. He said in about 15 minutes. We'll see you all. You'll see me pop back up. How about that? Thank you for watching tonight. We'll be back. All right. Bye.
Thank you for watching. Please support by subscribing to Talented Television on YouTube.